Hi everyone, we're Julie and Aquilas from CBM Global, and in this presentation we're going to take you through some of the things to think about, the tips and tricks as you complete a project design for CBM Global. Make sure you check out our other presentations, which are all about the preparation and all the work that you have to do and all the thinking that you have to do before you start writing the project design document. Don't just look at this presentation because there's a whole lot of work that you have to do before this.
So who is the audience for this document? It is the person on management team who will be running the project. So for example, the partners project manager, their management and their board. It is the CBM country team, their operational team and the board. It is the donor. So here we are looking at the member team and any government or funding body that is supplying funds through the member team. It is also the CBM technical teams.
Yeah, so that's your audience. It's not the implementing staff who are working on the project. The project design document is usually written in English or sometimes in French, but not in local language. So you have to think about other ways to make sure that the staff who are involved in implementing the project understand the big picture of what you're trying to achieve. Every single one of them needs to understand your kind of theory of change, what you're trying to achieve, the targets and the rationale, and not just understand the little bit that they're expected to do within the project. But don't expect them to sit down and read a 25-page project design in English. You have to think about other ways.
So here we are going to go through some of the sections in the project design document template to highlight what are the main things that you or the partner, whoever is writing the document, need to remember. These are our tips and tricks. So in the first section that asks about project rationale and the background, talk about previous evaluations, literature reviews, discussions around the particular issue that you are addressing. Don't talk about the global issues of disability or disability convention. That's way too wide. Talk about the specific learnings of how this project might build on previous work, the lessons learned from previous work, that sort of thing.
Yeah. With the project plan, this is the kind of the guts of the project design document. So here, yes, put in the high-level results of your project and maybe include something like a photo of your theory of change, that theory of change that you developed up on the wall. Don't spend too long making it beautiful. A photo is good enough.
And don't just provide a list of the activities that you are going to do. Actually, talk about the approach that you are going to take. Write about your assumptions. What will be some of the challenges? How is the partner going to do it? Talk about phasing, staging, testing, trialing. Explain that one area of work might have a lot more emphasis than another area of work, or that one area of work will start before another area of work.
Yeah, and it's okay to say that you don't have a clear idea of perhaps some of the specific activities that you're going to do in year 3, if it's a 3-year project, and that will depend on what's going to be achieved in the first few years. And you'll put in some notional activities against the budget, but say that they might change. That's okay.
Strategic alignment section. This is about how it aligns with the country's strategic plan or certain models. You might have already put this in your project idea, so just cut and paste that in. Show how your project might link to or extend certain government policies or approaches, or how it might build on other things, or how it's aligned with other things that are happening.
Yeah. So for this section on project participant groups, accountability and participation, explain who's the target of the project. So you might want to say that you're not sure about numbers at this stage, or you might be explaining how you're going to work with a certain type of people with disabilities. Are you going to work with, for example, one OPD? Are you going to focus on a certain type of disability group? It's okay to say that you're not going to work with everybody. We wouldn't expect you to. So don't make big statements. Be specific about what you're trying to do and trying to strengthen. So, for example, are you trying to strengthen OPDs? Are you trying to make sure that everybody has input as you go along? And how are you going to do that? So you might be thinking about how you're going to feed back to the people involved in your project through an annual review or a community report back.
In this section about partnership, participation, and stakeholder engagement, this is where you talk about the main partners that you are working with, not just the main formal partners, but also might be some of the organizations that you are trying to advocate to.
Yeah, so explain here the expertise of the partner. Give a little bit of the backstory about how CBM and the partner have got together. You know, have you worked before? Don't just copy from their annual report. Give some description of how you're going to work and what the partner's expertise is.
Talk about whether they need any support in terms of capacity strengthening. What about staffing? Will there be new staff recruited, or are they going to use existing staff within the partner organization? So explain a bit about that as well. The other section are about technical quality. Some of those cross-cutting issues we've already talked about. So we want to talk about them in great depth here. Check out the previous presentation for more detail on that.
Yeah, so we won't go into them here, but the one about technical quality, and people often get confused, and there's often a bit of an overlap with the one about CBM Global Project Oversight. So sometimes that response will overlap, but if you set it in one section, don't repeat it in the other. But basically, what we're asking is, here you should be talking about, is there going to be any ongoing technical input? What technical input has there been so far? Perhaps there's going to be some visits from certain technical experts in CBM Global as the project goes along.
With the monitoring and evaluation and learning, you might be not only just talking about what you are going to monitor from the project, but what are some of the big picture learning things that you want out of this project. You might explain that as well. In this section,
the big learning things that you want to track in this project.
Yeah. So in this section on project resourcing, in the section of the project resourcing, you can explain what are the main areas of expenditure. If you haven't talked about that before, explain if you are linking with any existing government programs. Is there funding from them? Is your contribution linked to theirs? You could be talking about as you're using existing government staff to do some of the work, like community health volunteers. You could talk about if you are paying OPDs or some of their core costs.
Yeah. So at that point, you've probably finished your project design. You've done so much work previously in the preparation that filling in that project design template won't take too long. But now you want to send it out for review. So who needs to review it? So it will be your partners management team, any OPDs that have made commitments that they're going to be involved, and the CBM country the CBM country team, management team need to review it as well. And then it also needs to go out to the CBM technical team for a final review and the member team for final sign-off. And when I say final review by the technical team, that's what I mean. This shouldn't be the first time that they see the project design. They should have been engaged much earlier on. Otherwise, you're going to have problems.
So if you've done your job well and kept your management team, the member team and the technical team well informed, you hopefully won't have too many revisions to do, but you'll have some factor that don't go on holiday yet.
No.
So then, yeah. So then finally, after the final review and sign off, then there's the process of contracting of the partner. Once things are agreed, then it's important to have something like a kickoff workshop, or as some people call it, an inception workshop. Make sure that you invite those that were involved in the consultation process for this project so that they can understand where it has led to. Also, invite key other important people that are going to be important allies in your project as you go along. And then it is time to begin.
Yay.
Yep. So that's the end of the presentation. I hope that this series of presentations have been useful in helping you understand all the things that you need to think about as you prepare for and work with your partners in the project design process. It is never straightforward. It's always messy. Remember that.
So you need to prepare, you need to consult, you need to have an approach to the whole process that is inclusive and accessible. And if you've done it well, you will have had those range of conversations with your implementing partners to develop up a theory of change and thought about how you're going to address issues around the scope of the project, the targeting, risk, sustainability, gender, safeguarding. And you will have done this all before you even start to write that formal design document.
We hope that these presentations have given you a few more ideas about how to navigate through the process. From Julie and Aquilas, thank you so much and bye for now.
Bye for now.